Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. The verse that I just recited before you is verse 19 of chapter 59 of the Holy Quran, and the translation is as follows: O you who believe, fear Allah, and let every soul look to what it sends forth for the morrow, and fear Allah. Verily, Allah is well aware of what you do. As we come to the end of this holy month and depart from this blessed moment in our life, it is important that we do not leave it behind like a figment of our imagination. Rather, it should enable us to enter a new phase of our lives in which we endeavor to establish a relationship with Allah Ta'ala even more than before, with much more passion and zeal and a stronger resolve. Regarding the month of Ramadan, as it was mentioned in the beginning of the month, the Holy Prophet ﷺ said, "Man sama Ramadana imanan wa ihtisaban, غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه ومن قام ليلة القدر إيمانا واحتسابا غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه." I, he who observed the fasts of Ramadan, sincerely having faith in Allah Ta'ala and seeking reward from Allah Ta'ala by analyzing oneself, all his previous sins would be forgiven. And he who observed the prayer on Laylatul Qadr with sincere faith in Allah, also analyzing oneself, all his previous sins would be forgiven. It is important that one thing that we take away from this month of Ramadan is the practice of self-analysis. In the month of Ramadan, our senses are heightened. Our thinking is far more refined, and we become more aware of our duties towards Allah Ta'ala and to His creation. More importantly, we become more aware of how to establish a relationship of love with Allah Ta'ala. And one of the most important aspects of this is of self-analysis, looking into ourselves and seeing what are those aspects which enable us to adopt godly qualities, and what are those aspects in our personality and our life which hinder our growth and stop us from having a relationship with Allah Ta'ala. This Ramadan, hopefully many of us would have improved and become better than we were before. But this practice of self-analysis is something that must remain with us for the rest of our lives going forward, so that each Ramadan and each Eid, in fact, becomes a celebration of further improvement through self-analysis and spiritual exercise. Hazrat Umar ibn al-Khattab, radiallahu anhu, the second caliph of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, or he narrates that the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Hasibu anfusakum qabla an tuhasabu," that you should analyze your own selves before you are analyzed, i.e., before you are made to stand before Allah Ta'ala on the day of judgment, in which Allah Ta'ala will look through your deeds and will judge you for them. وَتَزَيَّنُوا لِلْأَرْضِ, and that you should adopt the beauties that Allah Ta'ala has created for you in this earth. إِنَّمَا يَخِفُّ الْحِسَابُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ عَلَى مَنْ حَاسَبَ نَفْسَهُ فِي الدُّنْيَا. And then he states that one who analyzes himself in this world will find that his judgment in the hereafter will be light and easy. Meaning that one who continuously goes through the practice of self-analysis in this world continues to look through his or herself, trying to improve, trying to make sure that there are no hindrances in establishing a relationship with Allah Ta'ala. Then on the day of judgment, when everyone will be judged and an analysis and survey will be taken on their deeds and on their character, this process will be made easier for them on that day as compared to those who do not have the practice of self-analysis during this life. Similarly, Hazrat Muslim Maud radiallahu anhu, the second caliph of the promised Messiah والسلام, he provided some golden advice on the ways and means of self-analysis, perfectly in line with the teachings of the Holy Quran. And in fact, it is such wonderful advice that it in actuality enables us to develop a personal bond with the Holy Quran on a daily basis. As a Muslim Maud radiallahu anhu states, instead of analyzing one's deeds after a year, or 6 or 4 or even 1 month, one should highlight the commandments and prohibitions in the Holy Quran and make a conviction to recite a portion of the Holy Quran daily and make a conscious effort to not recite like a parrot. Rather, one should reflect over the commandments and the prohibitions, and whilst reciting daily, ponder over the commandments that are mentioned, if one is acting upon them or not, and reflect over the prohibitions which are mentioned, if one is avoiding them or not. In such a way, self-analysis will become easy. When someone builds a house, they get it surveyed by an engineer or someone of experience, so that nothing is left out and the building is complete. Similarly, the Holy Quran is an engineer for building a spiritual building. It should be consulted for the requirements of fulfilling one's faith. As a Muslim states, and I'll repeat, the Holy Quran is an engineer for constructing a spiritual building. It should be consulted for the requirements of completing and fulfilling one's faith. And for this, the proper way is to reflect over the commandments and prohibitions in the Quran and to see if our deeds are in accordance or not. This is such a practice that anyone who makes an effort can easily do so. What wonderful advice, which is actually quite practically easy for each and every single Muslim, especially one who has developed the habit of reading the Holy Quran during this blessed month, to ensure that we continue to benefit from the Holy Quran moving forward. If we were to read a portion of the Holy Quran to whatever degree that we can, and make sure that we highlight those points, whatever portion that we read in the day, make sure that during our recitation, we concentrate and we try to just highlight those points which are commandments of doing good by Allah Ta'ala, and also prohibitions of avoiding vice and evil, if we highlight those and then also ponder every day how much do we actually act upon these teachings, then every day we will be able to analyze ourselves and also develop a personal relationship with the Holy Quran, where the Holy Quran will be shaping our lives, it will be constructing our spiritual building, as a Muslim out said, like an engineer. The promised Messiah والسلام, states, Allah makes a daily survey of a person's deeds. Therefore, man should also make a daily survey of one's state and ponder over how much one has moved forward in goodness. A man's present and future should not be equal. Whosoever's present and future are equal in relation to their progress in goodness is in a state of loss. Similarly, our beloved Huzur Hazrat Khalifatul Masih al-Khamis, Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasir Aziz, the fifth Caliph of the promised Messiah, والسلام, he advises the quality of one's fasting and progress in taqwa, i.e., God consciousness, or one's love and reverence of Allah Ta'ala, can only be realized when one analyzes oneself. When one is not searching for the faults of others, rather one is searching for one's own faults and weaknesses. When one will be looking at how many good deeds one has tried to do today and how many bad deeds or bad habits one has left. What good deed have I not done or was not able to do? Which good deeds do I need to try and adopt? If one were to ask this question to oneself. Thus, if every individual were to try and adopt a few good deeds and leave off a few bad deeds and remain resolved in this, then you will be considered to have benefited from a great deal of the blessings in Ramadan. So, as we come to the end of this most blessed month, we should not leave it behind like it was a dream, like it was a figment of our imagination, which only comes once in a blue moon or once in a while in our lives, only to leave a sweet taste, but not for us to be able to enjoy its pleasure and its beauty throughout the rest of our lives. For this, we should take heed and remember these beautiful pieces of advice given to us by our beloved Khulafa and the promised Messiah والسلام. We should ensure that going forward, we are always analyzing ourselves, and this push that we have received from the month of Ramadan enables us to excel even further forward during the rest of the year. So next Ramadan, we can again increase our abilities and attain further energy and boost from this month, so that every month becomes, or every year, Ramadan becomes a way for us to come closer to Allah Ta'ala, and every Eid becomes a true celebration of achieving better levels of spirituality and a relationship with Allah Ta'ala. For having established a relationship with Allah Ta'ala is in actuality the only thing that is worthy of celebrating. May Allah Ta'ala enable us to understand this and make the coming Eid a true day of celebration for us all. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad wa barik wa sallim innaka hamidun majid. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.